Hey guys, welcome back to Opinion Spot. And today, on this episode, we're talking about the cast of the Resident Evil reboot. Stay tuned. Hey guys, Mom Kid here. Welcome back to the Opinion Spot. I hope everybody's well on their end. We're here to talk about the Resident Evil reboot movie. It was announced this week. Some interesting casting. And I'm here to talk about those castings and talk about what this reboot intense means to me, give my opinion on the subject. And as always, being that this is the Opinion Spot, get yours. Monster is with me today because well, it is kind of dealing with monsters, and I don't know, Monster enjoys being around or talking about his people. So, when we think about Resident Evil is one of Capcom's babies. It is a franchise that has been around since 1996. It started the whole survival horror genre in the beginning. Came out in 1996. How old were you back then? I can tell you how old I was. I was 14 when the first game came out, and it scared the living dog shit out of me and my cousins, my cousin and I, because at one point we visited our older cousin in North Carolina, and at that time we bought the game for the original PlayStation, and my cousin lived right across the street from a cemetery, so you can only imagine the kind of stuff that was playing with us. Over time, we saw sequels and more sequels and more sequels, in keeping the mythos going. There would be comic series and things like that, and then the first movie drops with Mila Djokovic, which was directed by her husband Paul W. Anderson, and he went on to do 6 movies, and it made over $1.2 billion, being one of the highest grossing franchise based off a video game series. I think now that has been beaten, correct me, by Sonic the Hedgehog. But with Paul W.'s version, only the first 2 movies are loosely based off the franchise, and it basically, the other 4 just became a buttload of bullshit, in my opinion. I'm gonna call it like it is, bullshit. He basically looked at us fans of that series and said, fuck you, I'm gonna do it my way, and if you don't like it, boo-hoo. Not only did he do that, he took an original character played by his lovely wife, Mila Djokovic, and don't get me wrong, I'm a big fan of hers, but he took that and pushed her more than pushing the real, true characters of the franchise. She was better than Jill. She was better than Leon. She was better than Barry. She was better than Claire. Better than Chris. You name it. She was. If Paul W. was a wrestling promoter, we'd be saying he's pushing his wife, and she was a wrestler, he's pushing his wife to the moon. Because that's basically what it was. I still can tolerate the first 2 movies, but the other 4 are trash to me. He took bits and pieces from the other games, but he went his own direction, and sometimes that can be a bad thing. You got us almost, in a sense, I've always said it, staying true to the essence of that character, that franchise. It makes us understand as fans, okay, they're gonna do their own thing, but they're also gonna remember that this franchise has a mythos of its own, so try to follow it. You know what I'm saying? But having said that, there's a new reboot coming out, and I'm not talking about the animated series that's coming on Netflix. I'm talking about a new reboot franchise, and we're here to talk about it because it was announced that they were going to reboot the franchise, and Constant Films is going to be involved in it. And the director of this he's going to be writing and directing it, is Johannes Roberts. I hope I'm saying his name right. And he's done work. One of the biggest things, or one of the first movies that I know that I've seen his work was 40 Meters Down Below with the sharks and everything like that. The first movie. I don't think he did the second one. And I enjoyed that for what it was. And basically, Mr. Roberts, he wants to take it back to the roots. He wants to take it back to that fear of what made those first games creepy, scary, to the point even taking it back to the original. So inside the mansion, inside Raccoon City, the setting of this movie is taking place in 1998. That's when the second game debuted. How old were you back then? I was 16 when that game came out. But they want to take it back to the roots and the whole mystery of the franchise. I respect that. I like that approach. I like that indeed. And the casting is all those characters we love, right, Monster? All those characters we love and we respect and love, and I'm going to give you those characters. So, let's start off with the originals in a sense. No Rebecca Chambers. I don't think she's going to be in it. It'd be cool if she is in it, but we don't know. Maybe Billy Corgan is in it as well. I don't know. But they have given us some actors who are going to play the respective characters. So let's start off with the two characters that started this franchise, started the franchise technically before Zero came out. And we're talking about, let's start off with Chris Redfield. Chris Redfield is going to be played by Robbie Amell, Steve Amell's cousin. I like this. I like this a lot. I think Robbie is a perfect choice for Chris Redfield. Chris is one of my favorite Resident Evil characters, and I'm not even going to get into Resident Evil 8 because fuck that shit right there, okay? I'm sorry. I'm trying to keep composed. Yeah, Monster, I'm trying to keep composed. But in my opinion, this is a good choice. I like this approach. Robbie Amell has the look. He has that semi-look of Chris from Resident Evil 5 and 6, things like that. That kind of military-esque look that Chris was going for in there. If any case of Robbie needing to get in some kind of physical shape for the role, we all know he can bulk up if he needs to. Those babysitter movies we kind of see a little bit of his physique there, and it's like, okay. So I'm really impressed by this. I'm like, okay, Chris Redfield, Robbie Amell. All right, this looks good. I'm down for it. Next on our list, of course, is Jill Valentine. We've seen Jill in the Paul W. Anderson movies, and I love the actress who played her. She looked the part. I thought she was gonna nail it, and to her ability, she did, but she got overshadowed by his wife, and you cannot deny that. She got overshadowed by Alice. But in this movie, we have who's gonna play Jill Valentine is Hannah John Kamen. You probably recognize her. She was the ghost in Ant-Man and the Wasp. She's gonna play Jill. And I didn't mind that they gender swapped the Ghost in Ant-Man and the Wasp, because in the original comics, Ghost is a man, but I didn't mind that. they wanted to give her a little bit more sympathy and her powers and everything like that. And I understand what they were going for. I didn't mind that too much. But if you look at her, especially in the image I'm looking, she kind of has that Jill look, especially in the later games. Jill, they started to design Jill with very intense eyes, and I've always said Miss Kamen has some really intense eyes. Like, you tell a lot from someone's eyes, and it's like, yeah. So it's gonna be really interesting to see Robbie and her, that chemistry between them, because we all know Jill and Chris, they got that chemistry. To me, I don't know why, Capcom didn't make them a couple, because I always felt like they would have been a pretty badass couple. That's just me. But yeah, she's gonna play Jill Valentine, and that's cool. I wish her nothing but the best. Same thing with Robbie. Just have fun with the roles. If you are fans of it, do them justice, as always. That's my biggest problem, my biggest concern. Next on the list, of course, we're gonna go with the characters from Resident Evil 2. Before I do that, yeah, no Barry. We have no Barry Burton in this either, so maybe Barry is not in this. Maybe he'll get maybe a nod, like maybe he went somewhere else. But yeah, next up, we're going with, let's start it off with none other than Mr. Kennedy. Leon S. Kennedy. Yeah, Leon is back in the game and in this movie, and I'm glad, because to me, he got done dirty in the last movie. Fuck that shit, like I said before. And he's gonna be played by Ivan Jogia. I hope I'm saying his name right. If I butchered it, I apologize. But I have seen him. He was in Zombieland, Double Tap. I'm forgetting who he played. I've only seen it once. I have not sat down and watched Zombieland Double Tap again. I need to sit down and watch it. But interesting pick. I mean, he does, once again, the actors that they picked, the casting seems to really look a lot like the characters they're playing in some aspect of the character. Ivan here looks like Leon from, I guess you say 4, but also from the animated Resident Evil movies, where he had kind of the 5 o'clock shadows and stuff like that. But it's going to be really interesting to see Leon in this and where they're going to take it. Is he going to be that rookie cop that was just coming into the city and then all shit blew up, or thing like that? Or is he going to be already in the shit and he's just meeting up with everybody? That's going to be interesting. Being that this movie is going to be taken from 1 and 2. They're putting 1 and 2 together, but it takes place in '98. It makes me wonder, like, are those characters going to meet up? Because remember, Chris left. He left. Jill stayed for a while because 3 took place 24 hours before and after Resident Evil 2. So yeah, that's going to be really interesting too. But yeah, he's going to play Chris. He's going to play Leon's card. As well for Chris's little sister Claire, she's being played by Kaya Scodelaro Rio. I hope I'm saying her name. Like I said, I don't want to butcher the names, so I apologize. Once again, look at her. I mean, she looks, especially like the new design for Claire in the remakes, but I look at her, I'm like, I can see Claire in her. And she was in the movie Maze Runner. I've never seen Maze Runner, but she was in that. And we're gonna see, last person to play Claire was Ali Larter, and is what it is. I like Ali Larter, but she, once again, you're gonna hear me say this, she got outshadowed by Mila. Period. It's what it is. But she's playing Claire Redfield. Next on the list, of course, we're gonna go with is Tom Hopper. Tom Hopper, as you can see, is playing Albert Wesker. Now, for all those who don't know Mr. Hopper, I mean, if you haven't watched Umbrella Academy, you better ask somebody. I like this choice too. In Umbrella Academy, he's the big, brolic-looking dude. I'm forgetting his name right off the top of my head right now, but he's going to be Albert Wesker. And prior to Umbrella, I've seen Mr. Hopper in other things, and that dude, it keeps himself pretty fit. And I'm like, depending on where they take Albert, will they take it after he takes the virus and makes him all superhuman, or is right when he betrayed the team? I don't know, but put the shades on him. You got yourself an Albert Wesker. Now, we saw Albert in W. Anderson's movies, and the dude looked the part, no doubt about that, but it is what it is. And last but not least, we have a very, very well-known veteran who's been in the game for a while. To me, he's a very talented, swell talent. He's very talented, in my opinion. He can play the hero. He can play the villain. He's voiced some of my favorite heroes. He voiced Bruce Banner back in the 1990 Incredible Hulk series. He's also voiced Green Arrow in the Green Arrow short. He was in Arrow. He's played Dum Dum Dugan. Ladies and gentlemen, Neil McDowell is going to be in the movie, and he's playing Dr. William Burskin, who we know later on to become that freaky monster with the eye and the bat and all that on this. But he's going to play this role. And I had one of my buddies basically say that it would have been cool if he was Wesker. I could see it. I could see him playing Wesker as well. But I'm cool with him being Miss Dr. Bursting as well. You know, Neil McDowell has done he's been in so many movie projects, TV works, you know, and his performances are always solid to me. So I have no problem with him in anything except for Street Fighter. Yeah, I can't believe they got him to play Bison. That just didn't work for me. Anyway, that's all the cast. There's only 6 cast members as of right now. Like I said before, guys, we don't know how many cast members. This just sounds like the core cast, but like I said, will Rebecca Chambers be in there? Will Carlos be in? No, well, Carlos, he was in 3, sorry. Will Barry be in it? Other members of the Stars team that didn't die, will they be in the movie? But they really want to go for more a darker tone, more of that feel that you got from those first movie, that sheer amount of fear because of the survival. You had to find everything. It means a lot. And I want to read, guys, a quote from the director, the writer and the director, because this really means something. And I know some people may say, "Oh, Chris, come on, like this is all talk. Stuff could change." I get that, but when I hear stuff like that, in my opinion, it gives me a little bit more hope. So, according to Mr. Roberts, he basically says, "With this movie, I really wanted to go back to the original first 2 games and recreate the terrifying visual experience I had when I played them with the same time-telling and grounded human story with about a small, dying American town that feels both relatable and irrelevant to today's audience." I like that approach. I like what he said. Raccoon City, before they even did Raccoon City in the second one, we never knew what Raccoon City looked like. We didn't know what it looked. We didn't know if it was a vibrant, city. All we knew about was that mansion, and it was in the Adelaide Mountains and things like that. But it was right outside the city of Raccoon City. And then we saw, and yeah, it was terrifying. But I'm very much in awe of this casting so far. They're not A-listers, and that was my biggest fear. My biggest fear was A-list. They were gonna just go, okay, we're rebooting this franchise for movies, but we're just gonna get A-listers. We're gonna get we're gonna go with some people that have already been buzzed. I mean, we've seen all these different, like for example, there was I think it was Boss Logic that did it first, or I could be wrong. There was a fan art of Jill being played by Scarlett Johansson and Chris being played by Chris Evans, and I thought they may go that route. And it's not that I wouldn't have mind that, but I'm glad they went with actors. You'd be like, I know that person. Yeah, I know her. Yeah, I've seen him before. Okay, I'm glad they went with that instead of going mega echelon with A-listers that feel like, well, I'll only do it if I'm getting top billing or if I produce the movie or something like that. And I don't mean that in a bad thing, but sometimes that shit happens. But overall, guys, I like the casting so far. This is not bad. I don't see really, to go into detail, like into really a sense of like, everyone's like, oh, that's terrible casting. Because I've seen Robbie Amell, I've seen Miss Kamen, seen Neil McDowell, and things like that, and I've always enjoyed their work. Robbie Amell, I know a lot of people may be like, oh, he can't act. Look at him as Firestorm. That's early, Robbie. Look at him now. Go watch his series on Amazon. In that, he was really good in that. I was like, okay, there you go. And the babysitter movies, I don't care too much about, but I'll even say it like, damn, Robbie is in pretty good shape. Like, goddamn, so it is what it is. But with that being said, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed. This is the Opinion Spot. Monster, thank you for being here. Thank you for keeping me company, buddy, as always. And I'll catch you guys next time, and hope to hear your opinions on the subject at hand. Please be honest. Don't think you gotta sugarcoat anything. If you don't like the casting, tell me why. Don't be scared. Don't be scared to do so, because I'm looking forward to input. I love input. You're getting a double dose of the Opinion Spot today, and of course, I will be breaking down my Opinion Spot list. What's the next episodes that come out? I'll be giving you a video on that as well, so you'll get to see what's the future holds for the Opinion Spot episodes. But with that being said, you guys take care.